Hi there, I'm Janet Schieferdecker of Choice Point Leadership, and I'm here today to talk about Frederick Hudson's cycle of renewal. It's been on my mind a lot lately with the pandemic and the shelter in place. You'll see why soon. The thing to remember is that this is about, it's a tool or a framework. It's about how do we sustain our sense of purpose? How do we live into alignment? So that's why it's right up my alley. The first phase that Frederick Hudson describes is called the go for it stage. And this is the stage where actually as Americans, we really want to be. We want to be there all the time because it feels really good. It's high growth and high achievement. You set goals, you do them. It's the pioneering spirit. But what actually happens is we can't be there all the time. At a certain point, we get to kind of a breaking point where we start managing what he calls the doldrums, where things maybe get a little less exciting, a little boring. Some of the things aren't really working for us anymore. We start to get a little out of alignment after some time passes. One thing to remember, I put in parentheses what this correlates to in a business cycle. And this in a business cycle is called the cash cow stage. So known because it's where we can potentially make the most earnings. So we know it in our professional life as the golden handcuffs. It's hard to leave then. But if we do move on, we're going to get to something else and hopefully something better. Again, we're often asked the best career advice is to get our next job before we leave the one we're in. So we do these kind of mini transitions and cut across the middle and just go back to that go for it, feel good stage. But if we want to really dig in, the next phase could be a cocooning stage, a stage where, like a caterpillar, we essentially question our identity and turn to liquid. Eventually, that can get old, and we want to formulate again. There is a slight danger of getting depressed here, so you have to be careful when you go into these introspective phases. And the last phase that he describes is this getting ready phase. And again, we often skip it. And we think of informational interviews as just ways to get going. But like a business cycle where this is like the piloting, the entrepreneurial stage, the testing, the experimenting, the market research, we really want to get ready and find out and do little mini experiments to see, is this really actually what we want? And if we do that, then our next phase can be something, pretty amazing, because we hit kind of a turning point when we're coming out of that cocooning phase that's absolutely critical, and we get a kind of a sense of peace. Now, what's actually happened lately is that we've been kind of thrust into this. So people who might have been into this, go for it stage, or maybe just starting the doldrums and maybe making a little more money and planning for retirement, we've all been kind of thrown into this cocooning stage, whether we were ready for it or not. So my question for you was, pre-pandemic, where were you? And how's it affecting you to be in the shelter in place? And the next question I have is, what did you learn while this was all going on? Because since we were in that cocooning anyway, we might as well figure out something and learn it. So if these questions interest you, and I hope they do, I hope you'll join me. I'm doing a free workshop on Thursday, June 18th at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. And there'll be a 5-week follow-on course where a group of us will go into this a little bit more deeply. The main exercise that we'll be using and we'll demonstrate at the free web workshop is a storytelling tool where we tell the stories of our life in such a way that people can give us feedback about what they see and what our real strengths are. So it makes it easier to kind of design those experiments and get some traction as you're coming into the launch phase. It's $97 for the course. The web workshop is free, and again, I hope you'll join me on Thursday, June 18th at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Thanks.